We have a client here who has had a leak up in the second floor, and of course it's gone through the main floor and the basement. We've had probably -5-degree weather here in Atlanta. This is 2010, so you are probably feeling that everywhere across the South if you're watching it here in the U.S. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about how to repair. Quick and easy way that I found, and we're going to go from there. Alright, if you look here, I've got a 3/4 inch pipe exposed in the attic, and it's not been insulated. And then I have another one right below that is still leaking, so I have to put a pot underneath there and to catch that. Okay, the first thing I had to do is use my Rotozip. If you don't have one, this is a great tool to use. It's the RZ1. It's an older model, but I've had it probably about 7 years now and just use it almost on every job. It cuts sheetrock and anything that you really need to get into. Well, here's the situation. I had to take out this particular section right here in order to get to my pipe. I couldn't get this device as my cutting device, and so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and make my cut here just by taking this particular cutter, tightening it up, and then turning it as I go. It'll turn in a circular fashion and make me a clean cut right here, and then I'll do this on the other end. Okay, so what I do is tighten up the top part section here and turn this as I go. You see here it's making a line already, and I just have to keep turning. Make sure everything's square at all times. And there you heard the pop. That means it's cut. And I just keep going until it releases. You can't get in a hurry when you do this, otherwise it'll feather on you, and you can't do that totally. There we go. So it's separated now. And now I'm going to go do this on the other end. So what I've done here is, again, cut out a pretty significant piece to where I can get my cutter back in here. Now in the process I made a little nick right here, so I'm going to have to go above. And what I'm using is a wax pencil to make my area. That's where I made the nick, so I'm going to have to go above this particular point here. So we'll start the same process over again. Make sure it's in there good, and then just start turning. Okay, and what I've done here is made my cut again, and now I'm ready to separate the pipes totally. So that's got me clear, and now I have this particular part right here that I can just get a hold of and do what I need to do on that. Now what I'm going to introduce to you is a device called a shark bite. I love these things. This particular one's a straight coupling. I get this in the big hardware stores. It boasts that it's lightning fast and it won't let go. I've only had one of these leak on me, and that's because I didn't seat it properly. You have to go at least 1 inch into the joint for it to be secure. Alright, what I've done here is, if you can see clearly, is at my fingertip I've marked about 1 inch depth here. And then on the end of the pipe, the new part that's going in, I did the same thing right there, and that's the depth of where the shark bite has to grip onto. The nice thing about these shark grips is that it has parts on the inside, and literally it looks like teeth, if you will, But once you put the pipe inside here, it will not let go. You have to have a special key to let go. And then of course I do both ends. So it's a pretty neat way to go. Clean that edge right here, nice and shiny, up to 1 inch. There's my mark again. And now I'm going to fit the shark bite on there. So I take the shark bite like so, and I apply just a little bit of pressure to it, just to make sure it goes on, and it should snap as I push. And there goes the snap there. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on it just to make sure that it's on there, and again it has stopped. So that's good. Now what I do after I make my cut on the other end, I'll come back in and fit it, and then there's my line here, and of course it will fit right directly in. So I have to compensate now for the inside. So that's almost about 3/4 of an inch on the inside that I've got to compensate on the other side, because I can't have the ends butting up to each other. I have to allow for that 1/2 inch compensation. Now here what I've done is I've laid it out on the other end, and this matches the end right here, so I know I need to go past this point, bringing it all out here. And so I'm going to compensate for that middle section in the shark bite and mark it back like so. Now if I need to push it in a little bit more, I can, because I do have some leeway at the other end that'll give me some space. Okay, what I've done here now is I've made my mark. I've marked it, then I've got the cutter seated well, and then again what I do, because this is loose, I can just hold this and turn the pipe, go around, and you see where I'm making the mark, right like there where my thumbnail is. Again, just hold it and turn it. Tighten it as I go. And the process just keeps on going until it's finally cut. It's getting close. And maybe one last time, there it is. And now it's time to fit both ends together. Now what I have is the end of the pipe again. I put my brush cleaner on here, pipe cleaner. Turn it a couple of times just to get the ends clean. Make sure I get a good bite when I put the shark bite on, and I'm ready to go. I still am leaking a little bit of water down into the line, but that's going to be taken care of pretty quick now. What I do here again is take my shark bite and I push until it stops, and that's it right there. And now what I've done is got actually a good bite there. And what I do here now is I'm going to have to fit one end like so, and then go down to the other end and get it going too as well. And this may take just a little bit of work, but we'll see what we need to do. And there it is. Now at the other end, what I've done is exactly the same thing. Now again, you have to make sure that everything is done in its square, approaching, and I take it and push on. Okay, and then we're ready. So now I have one complete piece all the way fitted and ready to go. Now I'm going to check for leaks.